recommendations during NFL season. It's not just tongue-in-cheek. Quarterback, defense, tight end recommendations based on opposition matchup. Here are your podcast hosts, JJ Zachariason and Denny Carter, living the street.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Living the Stream. I'm JJ Zachariason, the late round quarterback, and as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host, Denny Carter. Denny, how are you?
I have my regrets, about teams that almost got into the fantasy playoffs, but not quite.
Tell me about this Apex regret. I didn't dig into it enough.
Yeah. All right. So I think I mentioned it, but to review, when I was playing against you earlier this year in our Apex Raiders League, which obviously we all want to win. I'm the defending champ, just for the record. Sick brag. I know. I was driving back from what's that place called in Virginia? Williamsburg, Virginia. Not King's Dominion, but Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
I was driving back from Busch Gardens on a Sunday morning, and the Steelers were playing at 9:30 a.m.
Oh, wasn't this the LTS league that happened in?
Well, it was also Apex.
Oh,
it killed me in both leagues, actually.
Oh, wow, get owned.
And Jaylen Warren was declared inactive.
Yeah, against Minnesota.
I was unaware.
Yeah.
And so I did not plug in. I have Kenneth Gainwell. I call him Kenny because I know him personally. I had Kenny Gainwell. I have him in every league for some reason. It wasn't even like intentional; it just happened. And I was able to plug him into 0 leagues that morning, and he went off. Obviously, PPR.
Yeah, 30 some points. Yeah.
And that cost me. In the end, I think it did cost me at least one playoff spot. And and that was in the Apex League. So having some regrets, but you know what? I'm glad that one of us could have made the playoffs, and you snuck in.
I'm just glad that our stupid game where Dallas Goedert and AJ Brown couldn't get 12 PPR or whatever didn't cost me a playoff. So I somehow got the 5 seed too, because we talked about it last week, but there was a giant just grouping of teams that were like 11 and 13 or whatever going into the final week. And there were like 6 of you guys that were all right there. Some of you were playing each other and stuff. I just needed to win one of my 2 matches. I think I won both this week, but I need to win one of the 2. My team isn't that bad either. I'm getting Amari and Hampton back, which is fun.
Yeah.
I have decent enough quarterback play, and I just need, I basically only have 3 usable wide receivers. It's Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, who's not even always usable, and AJ Brown, which could be worse, could be way worse. Those 3, right?
Way worse. Also, thankfully, wide receiver doesn't matter anymore.
That's right. I've been saying it all year. Every week when I do the rankings, it's literally 9 guys and then just everyone else.
It just doesn't matter. I mean, we have entered a new era.
Yeah. It's really, really crazy. Another thing I want to bring up, I feel like the beginning of these LTS shows are like that one older guy who goes to the bar with his friends and he has an agenda of what he wants to talk about every week.
Yeah, right. All right. Yeah. Kenny Gainwell regret. Check.
Okay,
now
check.
On to the second one.
Okay. Next point to make. So if you guys were with us last week, you heard us talk about beef jerky and how Denny had not had beef jerky in his entire life. Not just, as an adult, not just since he was 15. In his entire life, he had never had beef jerky. So I went to Amazon. Okay. This is the process. Okay. I go to Amazon. There's a brand that I've bought a lot of beef jerky from. And so you go to your recent orders when you want to just buy that again. Right. So I go to my recent orders. Do you buy off Amazon frequently?
Not super frequently, but like I do that with dog treats. Yeah.
It's impossible for me to not buy off Amazon, or most anyone to not buy off Amazon.
It is a way of life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have this, especially when you can't get certain things in the store. So I have this beef jerky that I buy. And so I go to my previous orders and I just click the previous order, and I put in Denny's address, had it from like just having it like Christmas cards and stuff like that. And I put in Denny's address and I send him beef jerky, and it gets to his house over the weekend. I'm like, I'm really excited for this. It got there on Saturday, and Denny didn't text me until I texted him, said, "Hey, did you get a package, Mr. Carter? I got a picture of your front doorstep, but I never got a text from you that you."
Yeah, I think my kid, so one of my kids brought it in and threw it like behind the couch.
Yeah, okay.
It's something I actually had to like look for it for 15 minutes to find.
Yeah, okay. So Denny gets a package, and then he sends me a picture thanking me, but it was one of those like I could tell that something was up. Okay. I could tell that through the phone something had gone awry.
Well, because I the picture was of me eating the beef jerky.
Yes, and then you sent, but like I could just feel I could feel it coming. That you sent me because you were very thankful and very, you're like,
yeah, I thought it was incredibly thoughtful.
Yeah, you're like, thanks for sending me this. This is great. And Denny sends me a picture of himself eating a beef stick. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? Like the equivalent of a Slim Jim, right? Was what you were eating. And I realized that this brand that I buy from decided that they were going to replace whatever vendors they were using or whatever, replace all of the old beef. I can't even find the beef jerky on Amazon right now. And it just so happened, of all days, Denny, yeah. It just so happened that it happened when I was going to send the beef jerky to somebody else. And I didn't realize when I went to, because it's just a little tiny thumbnail, I didn't realize that they had switched from jerky to a beef stick because they're kind of phasing out trying to sell a lot of their jerky. They're trying to sell more beef sticks, apparently. And so you got beef sticks from me, and now I owe you the jerky, but I can't find the jerky anywhere.
Okay. So this is not even the same product.
It's not even the same. It's not even the same thing at all. You just
got. I thought it was just in a different form, and I was like, "What's the deal here? Like, just let me eat these sticks."
No, I mean, look, but they're probably pretty delicious.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're clean ingredients still, and all that. That's great.
Clean,
but that is not what I meant to send you. I wanted to send you actual beef jerky. Those are beef sticks. That's just not the same. Jerky's got, like rough edges. Jerky's like if they were to be like moles on your body, jerky would be the cancerous moles, the ones that have just crazy edges and stuff.
Quite the
isn't that one of the things
yeah, if it's on the edges of it, yeah.
If you got like a weird irregular edges, and color is one. It's like your ring shopping, but for moles. They do like the 4 C's or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so you got beef sticks when I wanted it to be beef jerky, and I literally, like, I'm mad for myself too because I eat this beef jerky. I can't find it on Amazon. It's probably on like their website and stuff, but then I got to go through the process of putting in my address to the website instead of Amazon.
We have a listener comment, and I think this person's right. If this whole fantasy football thing falls through for you, you can always be a beef jerky salesman door to door.
Apparently. I was just really, really upset that it wasn't the right product because you could have easily eaten it on air.
I should have brought the stuff that you had
No, because that's not even the real stuff. That's no different than me sending you a bunch of lollipops. I mean, it's just a different product. It's a totally different thing. It's not the same thing as beef jerky. So that's where that went. And then the last thing on this list, okay?
Yeah. All right. Check.
Second thing is done. Last thing, we got to talk about Phillip Rivers. What was your reaction when you first heard the news that they were earnestly and honestly like going after Phillip Rivers?
I was surprised in many ways, but one is because I thought that after Jim Irsay passed, that they would start being a somewhat normal franchise.
Yeah.
And because his daughter's in charge now, right? And she's like really on top of it. She like has an earpiece in at all times and like grinds like practice tape and is really very involved in the day-to-day. And I kind of can't believe that like someone came to her and was like, "Hey, let's sign Phillip Rivers." And she was like, "Yeah, let's do that." I don't know. It sounds just like the worst idea ever. Rivers had his intro press conference on Wednesday. Among the things he said, "I don't know how much I weigh." When someone asks how much you weigh.
Well, hang on. I gotta ask you this before you keep going. Are you pro or anti Phillip Rivers? Like as an athlete and personality?
I think okay. As someone who wants athletes to be interesting, even if it's irritating.
Yeah.
Like Phillip Rivers, I'm pro.
Okay.
So because he's weird, he's interesting, he has a personality. There are no Zoomer professional athletes with a personality. So it's nice to have like one last like Gen X.
Sure. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So he said that he doesn't know how much he weighs at the press.
He doesn't know how much he weighs. Yeah, I think that he was asked that because look, as a 42-year-old, I think I can say this. My guy Phil's looking pretty hefty. Okay.
He at least looks heftier than he did in 2020.
In 2020. He said, look, I'm not as light as I was in 2020.
Yeah. And you can see it in his face even a little bit.
You can see it in his face. But JJ, did you know? This is not a bit. The dude's a grandfather.
Yeah.
He's a grandpa.
Not a bit. Brett Favre was a grandpa when he was playing.
When he was playing?
Yeah, 2010.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. So like that's another. But yes, they both. I mean, he's a legitimate grandfather who I believe his oldest son is older than what's his face? Who's the backup?
Riley Leonard.
Yeah, Riley Leonard. Yeah. He's older than him.
Yeah. I did see Mina Kimes posted that on Blue Sky. That it's remarkable. I mean, this guy entered the league in 2004. How old were you in 2004?
6. No, I was 16 in 2004.
16.
Yeah, he entered. He was in the famous Eli Ben Roethlisberger class.
Yeah. I remember not even when he was young, like not believing that someone could be in the NFL with that throwing motion.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if folks still like remember this or know this, but Philip Rivers learned to throw a football because his dad was a football coach. So he learned to throw a full-sized football when he was very small, like 3 or 4 years old. So he had to shot put it because you can't grip the ball at that age, obviously. So you have to learn how to push it. Well, he never changed his throwing motion, even when he got bigger, much bigger. I mean, he's a big dude, right?
Yeah.
And so he still shot puts it. I'm a little scared for him. He's going to start this week. That's the thing.
Yeah, and if he's going to start this week, not only that, but against arguably the toughest defense outside of maybe Houston in football,
with simulated blitzes that are like putting guys in a blender.
It's frightening. If I were his child, I would be nervous as can be.
Right. If I were one of his 18 kids, I would come to him and say, Dad, listen, maybe don't do this.
There's 18 chances for a kid to say that, and none of them are stepping up. There's so many chances. We only have 2 chances whenever we do something stupid. He has 18 that can step up and say something to him.
And who knows? Maybe he's had a kid in the last 24 hours. We don't know.
Yeah, right. I did see someone. Oh, I can't remember what the actual graphic was in the meme of it, but something along the lines of like how Philip Rivers' wife is getting a break now that he's going to be playing football again. She's not gonna have to be pregnant at this point. But yeah, man. I mean, I'll say this: like, I'm unbelievably excited for it. Like, I love.
It'll be so interesting.
Yeah, I love when crazy stuff happens like this. And how do you not love it? And it makes our jobs almost impossible from a projection standpoint. I have no idea what to do.
Say?
What do you even do or say with that? I mean, to me, it's just like, yeah, you probably have to just play Jonathan Taylor. And then, you kind of go down the list of like highest ADOT you're going to like the least. So like Alec Pierce, dust, Michael Pittman, almost dust. Tyler Warren might be okay. Like you just kind of go down the list thinking about how like the roles these guys can play.
That's how I've approached it.
But like, even still, you're like, well, this offense, like my stance, like I was talking about this on Discord with other late rounders. And my stance was like, if I get burned by fading a 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't played in 5 years,
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. If he comes out and I will say though, and I sent a tweet about this, but I said I added Philip Rivers in every Superflex league just for aura, essentially, right? But I'm not kidding you, Denny. Like I have a dynasty team that's pretty loaded, but at quarterback and Superflex has only Jordan Love and Tua. And Jordan Love will play, in the if I can get by round 1 and stuff. I'm the 3 seed, but I don't know exactly what Miami's schedule looks like. But like realistically, there could be a time where I'm like week 17 or something, and Miami gets Tampa Bay, so it's not that bad. I think they might get Washington next week or something, so maybe I'll take that back. But realistically, there might be a situation for people in a Superflex format where like Philip Rivers is more viable than one of the quarterbacks, lower tier quarterbacks that you have,
which is nuts.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
I mean,
also, quarterback sucks. Like, quarterback play is terrible across the league.
Like, think about going back in time to like late August when we're drafting our teams and someone being like, "Hey, JJ, you're going to be starting Phillip Rivers in the fantasy championship in your Superflex league." It would be the same thing. It would be not the same thing, but it would be similar to someone coming to me who drafted a lot of Brian Thomas and being like, Jacoby Myers is the unquestioned number one receiver for the Jaguars. Week 17.
Right. Or Jacoby Brissett has given you only QB1 performances since week 6 when he took over as starter.
Jacoby Brissett is an elite fantasy producer.
Yeah. I mean, it's been crazy, man. And I do wonder because best ball season, the regular season ended this past week, and everyone, including myself, were overanalyzing our advance rates and whatnot and seeing, what our exposure. I wonder if any human being in BBM or in the DraftKings Millie drafted Phillip Rivers. No, right? No. Like Christian Watson was barely drafted. I can't imagine that. Yeah. Phillip Rivers was even as a joke, I can't imagine. He might not even been in the player.
It's been 5 years, man.
I know. It's wild to think about. I feel a little bit, I'm interested selfishly because I was underweight on Colts for the most part in best ball. I had like 7% Jonathan Taylor, so I was a little bit below with Tyler Warren, but didn't get enough I had very little Alec Pierce. I was drafting Adonai Mitchell instead of Alec Pierce for the most part. And so, which ended up, right now if Tyrod plays, it might be okay. But regardless, I am interested selfishly because I had a pretty good advance rate in the Millie, and I only have 11% Jonathan Taylor left on my teams when everyone else is going to be at like 30, 40% because.
Oh, you're right.
Because he carried, but
he's in a bad spot.
It's rough. They have a tough schedule too. It's not an easy schedule for Indianapolis. And so
I was selfishly interested in Riley Leonard, who I thought would be very fun.
As a distributor, he seems like a cerebral, can just be he understands the offense. He can just distribute the ball.
The rushing as well. I mean, in the preseason, he was scrambling at like a 23% rate or something, insane. Like he was just leaving the pocket immediately.
It's crazy that whole season for the Colts. And how down bad are they? I mean, they went from on top of the world trading multiple firsts for and Adonai Mitchell for Sauce Gardner to him being hurt. And them losing their starting quarterback and starting a 44-year-old, I mean, they might not even make the playoffs at this point.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's nuts. It is nuts.
They went all in, and it fell apart immediately. Like within minutes of going all in, it all fell apart.
We've been there in dynasty leagues, but that's a $50 entry dynasty league. That's not an entire NFL franchise.
I know. I hope they keep Steichen. They're going to miss the playoffs. It's going to be ugly the next 3 weeks, but.
They'll keep Steichen.
I think Steichen's a really good coach.
I got a really, really bad read on that. I mean, I remember bashing him and Ballard. I still don't think Ballard is that good. I'll be honest. I'm not a big Chris Ballard fan. But
no, I don't think so. I think Rotopat ranks the GMs, and he was low on Ballard this past year, and Colts fans were furious.
Well, how often does a GM get such leeway that Ballard's gotten? I mean, he's been a GM for a while there, and he just continuously has gotten not a lot of production out of his teams and just continues to have a job. And then this year was seemingly going to save them. But it might, I don't know. To me, it shouldn't save him, but it probably will. But I think Steichen's a good coach. I do. I think Steichen has clearly got, at the very least, he's going to be a great offensive coordinator.
It's a good system. Anthony Richardson was not able to operate that system. But Daniel Jones was. I think Riley Leonard may have been able to. Phillip Rivers knows the system really well.
How bad is, Anthony Richardson is already kind of dust, but how much more dust is he going to be if Phillip Rivers comes out and he can be competent in this system?
I feel like this going into the year, I kept reading these puff pieces about Anthony Richardson means business. Like he wants a chance. He wants one more chance. This season has gone as badly as he could have ever.
Yeah. And he'd have a chance right now if he didn't hurt his eye.
Yeah. Oh man, and they say that his eye is still messed up. The beat reporter said that I've seen him recently. He hasn't been seen in public apparently, but beat writers I've seen his face. It's not cool. Like he's still hurt.
It's Najee Harris all over again.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before we get into the rest of the show, I just have a quick shout out that I wanted to do here. I work with a fella named Tim at NBC Sports, really nice guy. He wants me to tell Daniel Margol, Daniel, let Tim in your basketball league and give Tim some playing time. All right. So I just want to give a shout out to Tim. Get that guy on the court. You don't even know what he can do. He's a YMCA legend, I hear.
Wow.
There you go.
All right. Let's go into what happened last week. Tyrod Taylor got hurt. I had a subscriber get mad at me.
Really?
Because it does not happen very often, but yeah, got a little upset. I don't think you realized that Tyrod Taylor was hurt in that game. Asking why I had Taylor ranked where I had him ranked.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had minus 1.8 points. Tyler Shuck, though, couple of rushing touchdowns. That was fun. 21.3. Harold Fannin, again, I'm just so happy for his mom. 25.4 PPR points for Harold Fannin.
Just so happy.
Bretton Strange, 5.7. Evan Ingram, 2.8. Colby Parkinson, that was a good call. 12.2 PPR points. Darren Waller, that was a bad call. 2.7 PPR points. Miami's defense was a great call, 16 points. Then the other three, Washington, Tampa Bay, and Tennessee, were at 5 or 3 points. Washington had 3. Washington, a pitiful performance against Minnesota. But I will say, on the late round fantasy football show that I stream every Friday on this channel, youtube.com/@lateroundff, I made 2 bold predictions last week. I don't remember one of them, but one of them was that Minnesota would drop a 30 burger against Washington.
Really?
Yeah, so I got that one right.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't remember what the other one was.
That's very specific.
Yeah, I mean, they almost exactly got 30 points. They got 31, but it was my other bold prediction was that RJ Harvey was going to be a top 5 running back. I don't think that happened.
No, I thought, man.
I mean, maybe it was close.
I on my Friday stream, which competes with yours, of course, and people should listen to mine. People kept asking, like, basically, please tell me not to play RJ Harvey. And I was like, no, you gotta.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm definitely concerned, not like overly concerned, but like nervous because they have a really tough running back schedule the rest of the season. They get Green Bay, Jacksonville, and then Kansas City, which is just not easy for RJ Harvey. And so like usage can get him by. I just, against Vegas though, you're playing him.
I mean, but he also has RJ Harvey has really interesting and good usage. Like they give him so many high leverage touches. Where he's the opposite of like the trap back who's like just getting touches between the 20s and would have to break a 30 or 40-yard touchdown to make it work. Like he has like so many outs on a weekly basis because they use him inside the 10. He's used as a pass catcher, but not just as a pass catcher, not just as a route runner, right? He's not just out there running routes. Like they're targeting him at a high rate. I think 30% of his routes recently, he's been targeted. I like RJ Harvey.
Vidima says that JJ called the Steelers win too. Look, guys, I don't miss when it comes to Mike Tomlin games.
It's weird.
It's a pattern.
It's weird that you're able to do that so consistently. And I want to say just real quick how funny it is that back against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. All the stuff going around. This is it for Tomlin. Tomlin gives in and says, fine. We'll throw it downfield. We'll score some points.
Yeah.
Yes. But until that point, he said, no, we are not throwing it downfield. We are not scoring any points. We're going to do it my way. And they said, okay, fine. I'll let my guy, Aaron Rodgers has a lively arm. I was impressed.
Aaron Rodgers has not had a bad arm all year. Like
it's strong.
It hasn't really, in my opinion, like I don't think Rodgers has actually been that horrific. I think a lot of it is, I mean, look, you give him Calvin Austin as his wide receiver too. Roman Wilson's not even dressing anymore. What do you expect any quarterback to really do? And then, evidently DK Metcalf has had like just trying issues, right? And so, it was good to see Metcalf like be the focal point. Like what they did last week is what they need to do every week. Let DK Metcalf have a 30% plus target share, throw it down the field a little bit more, have a 9% pass rate over expected rate, do things that are just stop this BS run game stuff that just is not going to be that effective.
DK Metcalf accounted for 88% of the team's air yards last week. How crazy is that?
Yeah, and it should be that way every week. He's the only competent receiver in that offense.
That's so funny.
And like really, I just don't understand. You're paying the dude $150 million. You know, you already made a huge, like at least make fans realize that you made that you didn't make a huge mistake in trading away George Pickens.
And also you gotta listen, you gotta get these diva receivers, you gotta get them involved.
Yeah.
Like they're not there to block, they're there to make plays, to be the focal point of everybody's attention. You saw as soon as Pickens, things started to go wrong for Pickens last week against Detroit.
It's over.
Stop trying.
Yeah,
okay?
It's over.
DK Metcalf, low effort all season. Last week they get him going early, and he was out for blood for the rest of that game.
I know, like just do that every week, guys. It's not hard. It's really not that hard. And the defense played a little bit better. Controversial at the end with Isaiah Likely. That was a catch, right?
It was such a catch.
Yeah, I mean,
so Nance and Romo were like, no, he never got his third foot down. I was like, what?
Yeah, right.
What? Right. I've never heard of the third foot rule.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's really dumb. He's been, I mean, spoiler alert, we'll be talking about him today. But he has Isaiah Likely 2 weeks ago, Thanksgiving, he fumbles at the 1. And then last week he gets a touchdown taken away. That was just a bad call, in most people's opinion. So like he's already outpacing Mark Andrews like 27-12 over their last 3 games in PPR points. Like it could be like 40-12 if things would have gone his way.
Yep, that's right.
All right, let's kick things off. I'll just start with Aaron Rodgers, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So Rodgers gets the Dolphins this week. They've been an above average matchup for quarterbacks this year by adjusted points allowed. Tyrod got hurt last week, so you know I don't really think that we can look at what they did last week defensively and say that they're good against the pass, because prior to that, QB 12 to Tyler Shuck, QB 11 to Marcus Mariota, QB 10 to Josh Allen, and QB 9 to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar, that was his first game back from injury, when he wasn't. I mean, he had like 4 touchdowns that week or something. Like he wasn't doing that much, and he hadn't done that much after that. So they've been worse against the pass. They've actually been pretty good against the run. Miami has over the last handful of weeks, and so I do think that combined with the fact that they're pretty bad against tight ends, and the Steelers are a really tight end heavy team, even though Darnell Washington could miss this week's game with a concussion. I think it sets up pretty well for Pittsburgh's passing attack and in their offense.
I do too. So we have 2 quarterbacks from the same game. I'll start with Bryce Young against the Saints. It's an ugly environment, 40.5 point total. Panthers have an implied total of 21.25 points. So I actually dug into like the Bryce Young splits between against man coverage and zone coverage this season. And I wrote it up last week in regression files. He's done a lot better pretty much across the board against zone. The Saints play zone at the 10th highest rate in the league. Now, last time the Panthers played the Saints, Bryce Young was a disaster. So, you know, take that into account here. But Panthers had their 3rd heaviest game of the season in week 3 against these Saints. So maybe there's some room for upside there for Bryce.
We didn't talk about this, but we need to add Marcus Mariota to this list.
Because Daniels was declared out.
Yeah. So I'll just say Mariota, he's had a QB1 performance in each of his last 3, and Washington gets New York. They've allowed the 4th most adjusted fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. So Marcus Mariota, I think Mariota is the best quarterback that we're talking about on today. Like I have a decision in a playoff game. I'll ask you, Marcus Mariota against the Giants or Patrick Mahomes against the Chargers?
Oh my gosh.
In the fantasy playoffs.
I think I'd still have to go Mahomes.
Okay. That's even extra for me, because you would typically be like go with the sexier pick.
Go with the more risky.
I do think though Mariota should be rostered right now, because in week 17 they get Dallas, and there's a lot to like about that matchup. If they shut down Jaden Daniels, obviously Mariota would be probably a top 10 quarterback ranked that week.
Mariota's letting it rip too.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's I'm still contemplating Mariota over Mahomes this week.
The variance is real, but the Giants stink. So
the Giants are terrible. And Terry McLaurin's back. I don't think Zach Ertz being out is going to be like a massive, massive detriment. So
no.
Anyway, the other one's JJ McCarthy. Everyone against Dallas has scored 16 plus points against them, except for Geno Smith, who scored 13. And Geno Smith's just been horrendous this year. And JJ McCarthy's coming off his best EPA per dropback game of the season last week. Dallas is the best matchup on paper for quarterbacks. So I think JJ McCarthy, I'd play Rodgers and Mariota over him. Would you play McCarthy or Bryce Young?
Bryce.
I think I might go JJ McCarthy.
God, it's hard for me to like buy into.
Yeah, it's fair.
McCarthy.
It's
I mean, his expected completion rate was 70% last week, so that was a lot of easy throws that he had.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. I mean, it's good that the Vikings realize that's what he needs. Anyway, I have Tyler Shuck. So against Carolina, this comes down to rushing because he's kind of like Taysoming at this point. Now, this is going to sound like I'm doing the Zoomer meme, but I'm not. Over his past 3 games, these are his rushing attempts: 7, 6, and 7. Only Josh Allen has more quarterback rushing attempts over those 3 weeks. And a lot of those are designed, so this is not just him like panicking and fleeing the pocket.
Yeah.
Is it real? Do you think the rushing is real for Shuck?
Yeah, I mean, he was a mobile like quarterback coming out and someone that had that athleticism. So I think it's pretty real. I think that this is more realistic than like how he started. I was surprised when he first got some starts that they weren't allowing him to kind of like do more outside the pocket.
Me too. But it comes down to the rushing because the passing is inefficient, and that goes without saying almost.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to tight end. I'll start with Isaiah Likely. We already talked about this a little bit. He's outscored Mark Andrews over their last 3. He's had about a 17% target share since Lamar Jackson came back from his injury. And they're playing Cincinnati. Last time they played Cincinnati, he almost had that huge touchdown, but he fumbled. Cincinnati's just been historically bad against tight ends this year, so you can play Isaiah Likely.
I know. I wish they would just use him instead of Mark Andrews. Yeah, so I have in that same game, Mike Gesicki. So this has a 51.5 point total, second only to the Lions and the Rams for this week. So we like that for our tight ends. Gesicki, his usage isn't great. 47% of the routes last week, 17% target share. He was targeted on 35% of his routes against Buffalo last week. So that's a strong rate. That's a strong rate for anybody, especially tight end. Last time, last time the Bengals played Baltimore, which was on Thanksgiving night, if you remember. If you're old enough to remember that, Gesicki ran 40% of the routes. He had 2 catches on 4 targets, but Bengals tight ends, JJ, totaled 10 targets against Baltimore in that game. They was split, unfortunately, between 4 guys.
Yeah.
But I think you could do worse than Gesicki.
Yeah, that's the fear. And that's one of the things that I try not to overstate, like the single game. Like, for instance, like Mitchell Tinsley versus Andre Iosivas. Like, Mitchell Tinsley, the last time they played Baltimore, had 9 targets in that game. He caught 2 of them, but he had 9 targets. But Andre Iosivas had a route share of 96%, and Tinsley was at like 67%. So when I'm ranking and thinking about these guys, I still kind of go with the safer route share player in Iosivas because, it's just like one play can be, each play is going to be different. They can defend things differently, all that kind of stuff. But I think with Gesicki, the reason I bring that up is because, he's trending in the right direction based on what he did last week and such. And even though he didn't see as many looks through the air last time, it could change in a game. Like, you can't just take the one game sample and assume it's going to happen every single time they play each other.
As far as Likely goes, we have a question in the chat, and I saw this on for the patrons too. Would you play Likely over Tyler Warren this week?
Oh man, I have to look at my rankings.
I would
probably not.
Okay,
because Seattle's actually not a terrible matchup for.
I know, yeah, Seattle is a good matchup. I guess I'm just like projecting total carnage for the Colts.
I have them in the same tier in 2 spots. So I have Tyler Warren at tight end 11 and Theo Johnson at tight end 12, and then Isaiah Likely at tight end 13 this week.
That's close, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really close. I mean, like I know that rankings are so linear, and that's why I tier guys, that people can have like an idea of like, this is more of a 50-50 call than it is, I clearly like this guy more, but
I'm tired of Warren's lack of ceiling.
Yeah, he hasn't really done much. And it's not like Tyler Warren is like a stud.
I'm very like, look, the film bros, they love Tyler Warren, and rightfully so. He does cool stuff, lots of blocking, lots of cool film stuff. Likely to me is like he comes into this game, especially in this game against the Bengals, I think far more upside than Tyler Warren.
No, I would agree with that. Yeah, I think even from this draft, this is a total not real, but I think that when their careers are done, Colston Loveland's going to have a better career than Tyler Warren.
Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
I think he's more fit for.
Yeah, and he's younger. I mean, he's like 3 years younger than Warren. Like there's a lot. Like to me, Loveland's just been really good. He's just not getting as many routes as we need him to get to be awesome.
Yeah. We have a listener, Smith BK, who said he was listening to this show while at a work meeting, and I don't want to get you in trouble, brother. So, we're going to be here. Like, you can listen to us. We appreciate the loyalty, but don't get in trouble at work.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Another tight end. Me, Harold Fannin. This one's easy.
Yeah.
He's crushing right now with Shedeur Sanders. He has the top target share among all tight ends in football since Shedeur Sanders took over.
Wow.
So Harold Fannin needs to be played. Chicago's a pretty good matchup. 13th best matchup by adjusted points allowed. Next week is going to be interesting. Harold Fannin gets Buffalo. It's not an easy matchup, but I still think you're probably playing him for like game script and just seeing some work. He's not the most traditional tight end in the world, and they're just using him and deploying him. I mean, he had a 93% route share last week. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. The usage is way different than it was in the first half of the season where you were just praying that he got to 50% of the routes, right?
Yeah. And the quarterback play is a little bit more competent too.
I think far more in some regards, but yeah, I like him. I just want to mention Evan Ingram, not a great play. Certainly I think you're playing Gesicki, you're playing Likely, you're playing obviously Fannin over Ingram, but if you're down bad at tight end, Ingram plays against the Packers. Packers allow almost 8 targets per game to opposing tight ends. I think it's the top 10 rate. Ingram ran 60% of the routes last week against the Raiders. He's been targeted on 20% of his routes over the past 2 weeks. Definitely not like a priority in this offense, but if this game goes off a little bit, I think he could be okay.
And then there's Pat Freiermuth. I already talked about him. No Darnell Washington. That's actually a big deal. Washington's had a 40% route share this year. And he's out targeted Freiermuth plenty throughout the season. And Miami is the 3rd best matchup by adjusted points allowed to tight ends. So like I said, they're not good at defending tight ends. There's not many alternative options in general in that Pittsburgh offense. And I think Freiermuth could get it done through the air this week.
And Freiermuth was on record 2 weeks ago saying, I'm frustrated. I'm sick of this. I want to get on the field. I don't know why they're not using me. If he gets a shot, if Darnell Washington is out this week, I like Freiermuth to just be that dog.
That'd be great because I somehow advanced a decent amount of Freiermuth teams in best ball. So
nice. You're in it then. You're in it.
It's best ball sweats are going to be interesting this year for me because I ended up getting 47 of my 150 milli teams through this.
Wow.
This year. Yeah.
That's a really high rate, isn't it?
It's good, strong rate. Yeah. So we'll see what ends up happening.
Nice.
All right, let's go to defense. You got 2, I got 2. You can kick things off.
Niners against Titans. San Francisco is a 7.5 point home favorite here. Cam Ward has a 26% pressure to sack ratio. That is the 3rd highest in the league. We have a sack-based floor.
Also, San Francisco next week gets Indy.
Yes, I did.
So you could.
We mentioned that for the Patriots. Yeah.
Another fun little one is that you could, because teams in your league are probably dropping Detroit because they played last week. They played Dallas. This week they get the Rams, but then in the next 2 games they get Pittsburgh and Minnesota, which are not Pittsburgh at home in Detroit, and then Minnesota on the road. So they might even be, in like I get questions. I'm sure you do all the time of like, which defenses should I just play throughout the playoffs? And very rarely is there just going to be a defense that's just so obvious you just plug and play and use every single week. But I do think Detroit, like if you need like a streamable defense in those weeks, they're fine. But I would still rather take it week by week. I would not just like get a defense and be forced to play them.
Dude, you heard Gino's not going to play this week. So Kenny Pickett is under center for the Raiders.
Revenge game though for him.
The revenge. Oh man, the Eagles defense is like the biggest smash ever this week.
Oh my gosh, and they're playing so well right now.
I know.
I mean, it's just you can't throw on them at all.
It's going to be a bloodbath. I actually don't even know like who you can start for the Raiders.
That Monday night game was one of the worst games I've watched in a while.
It was ugly. I do think
ugly. I mean, just rough.
I do think Hurts played fine except for the turnovers. Like he had 3 throws to AJ Brown that were beautiful and should have gone for long gains, if not touchdowns.
I'm getting kind of sick of the bandwagon of hating Jalen Hurts.
It's too much.
It's way too much.
Right.
And I've seen all the meme accounts doing like Jalen Hurts whenever the game's on the line, and it's like some, meme of him being some like terrorist or something like that. And it's insane to me. The dude just won a Super Bowl. And the year before that, he was awesome in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl, going bananas against an elite Kansas City team in the Super Bowl.
He was literally the best player in the Super Bowl that year. He could have easily would have been MVP if they won that game, and they could have easily won that game if things just kind of it was a very close matchup. Get this garbage out of here that Jalen Hurts is like a bad quarterback. It's just so stupid. It's so dumb.
It is stupid. I wrote about him in regression files. I think he's going to regress positively against the Raiders myself.
Oh, I hope Jalen Hurts goes. I hope they go on another run. Actually, I don't, because it's Philly. But for Jalen Hurts purposes, like, he seems like such a cool dude too.
He's so, like, of all the quarterbacks to hate, you cannot hate that guy.
Yeah, it drives me nuts that people are hopping on this bandwagon and just hate him. All right, we'll go to Chicago. They get the Browns. I know Shador's looked competent, but each defense that's gone up against them, they've been pretty relevant in fantasy. They faced a bad Raiders defense. Vegas scored 5 fantasy points against them. That was their highest total over the last 4 games. Week 13, San Francisco was comfortably a top 10 defense. This past week, they had Tennessee. Tennessee generally is a bad defense, but they saw their highest pressure rate of the season. Tennessee, I believe, based on next gen stats, had the highest pressure rate of any team this year against Cleveland. Like, it was something crazy like that.
Wow.
And so I'm not that concerned when they're 7.5 point home favorite. Chicago is. I think Chicago is a top 6 option this week at defense.
Yep. Cowboys against the aforementioned Vikings. The Cowboys are 5.5 point favorites as of this recording. JJ McCarthy's tied with Geno Smith for the league's highest pressure to sack ratio. So like I said, 70% expected completion rate last week for McCarthy. That's fine. Overall, -8% pass rate over expected. Only Shador has been worse this season. So if this game goes sideways for the Vikings early, game script wise, I like the Cowboys' chances of turning them over a few times.
You have to play Justin Jefferson if you have him, right?
I guess.
You have to. He's one of the most talented wide receivers, and the most talented wide receiver in football, going up against a team that's the worst, not just against wide receivers, but specifically perimeter wide receivers. Like, it's the nut matchup for him. Like,
the Cowboys are getting crushed by boundary receivers.
Yeah, him and Jordan Addison are both good plays, I think, this week. Like, I understand the hesitation, but I just think you got to do it. Jacksonville was the defense that we had talked about. They're like 65% now, but they weren't earlier this week.
But they didn't used to be.
Yeah, before waivers ran. Tyrod Taylor was hurt in week 14. We don't know who's going to start for them this week. Do you have
Brady
any insight?
Cook, probably.
Who's it?
Brady Cook. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's Cook, I mean, the Jags are 11.5 point favorites. This is a very process-based play. The Jets have a low implied team total. I just think there's going to be a lot of fantasy points for Jacksonville to score here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So to recap, we got Dallas, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Chicago, Mike Gesicki, Evan Ingram, Pat Freiermuth, Harold Fandon, Isaiah Likely, Tyler Shuck, Bryce Young, Marcus Mariota, JJ McCarthy, and Aaron Rodgers. Denny, let's get to some questions. I got some on. We didn't get a ton of them. Didn't get a ton of them on Twitter.
On the X platform.
But I do have some. This is one from Didymus from last week. Okay. What is the one this one kind of confuses me. I want to get your take. What is the one dad level regular medical appointment that you low key look forward to? I've had the best sleep of my life at my colonoscopy, but I really enjoy my ophthalmology appointments. Maybe I need to go see an ophthalmologist. Since I can't drive myself and I can just chill out afterwards since my eyes are dilated. Do you look forward to any appointment of anything?
No. I guess so back in 2010, I had basically crushed all my molars by grinding my teeth at night. And I had to have a series of procedures to bridge them and replace parts of them. And I was messed up. So they used to give me the gas for those.
Oh, okay.
And the gas it wasn't unenjoyable. It was
sure.
Yeah, you got a little buzz. So I remember that being not so bad.
I don't mind getting this is gonna actually I can't say this because people are gonna just make fun of me.
Okay,
but I'll no, I'll say it anyway. I don't like my yearly physical. I don't like going to do it, but I don't mind. I like getting blood work. Like I don't like the process of getting blood drawn.
No, of course.
But I like this is gonna be shocking. I like analyzing what's going on with blood work.
That's
so yearly physical, I can go and be like, yo, can you get this? Can I get this? Can I get this? And my doctor's like, yeah, dog, I got you. And then from there, I can start to look at, I basically do a 10 trends episode every year for my physical.
You grind the analytics with
my blood work. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to see how things change.
That's pretty good. I have a question here from Blue Sky. I'll just do two back to back real quick. Alan says, have you ever finished a competitive fantasy football season undefeated? My answer is no.
Okay. I have one quick story to tell.
Okay.
One of the years that I won the Apex League. Okay. That year I lost one game and there's a league median. There's a league median. I lost one game. I think it was to Graham Barfield because I was above the median every single week. And then I won the championship.
That's
okay.
wonderful,
but it was the year I remember vividly. I had a horrible draft. My draft was terrible. But after the draft ended, I traded CJ Spiller when he was a Saint. Do you remember when he went to the Saints?
I remember that.
And somebody else to Sean Siegel for DeAndre Hopkins and David Johnson.
And they went bananas.
And it was the year they ended up going bananas. And it was like on paper, it was a fine trade, like whenever it was done. And I know Siegel was high on both of those other guys. He was probably just trying to get like the right exposure for his teams and stuff like that. But I remember that trade vividly just because that ended up giving me one of the most dominant teams that I've ever had in my life in a competitive, analysts, the best analysts that especially back then, because there weren't as many, and going like 25-1 and then winning the championship was probably the best team I've ever had.
My story I have not gone undefeated. I did lose. I went almost undefeated. I lost one regular season game in my family and friends league. This is back 2011 or something, right? And I was just crushing people every week. I had like 3 top 10 receivers and 2 top 5 running backs just killing. Anyway, I get into the playoffs and I get buzzsawed the first week. Because I had a bye. So then the semifinal week, I lose by like 75 or something. It was insane. Like none of my guys scored anything. His guys went nuts. I actually it took me like months to get over that. Because I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm winning this thing. Like there's nobody.
Yeah, you can't. Well, see, but then you play long enough and you realize like I have 2 like incredibly dominant teams this year that I like there's league median, but like only like 3 losses with these teams, including, with league median. And I'm fully aware that I'm going to lose both of them. That it's just not going to happen for me.
Nice reverse jinx.
I'm fully prepared for that to happen. I mean, one of them is a weird, like, but it's a super flex league. I have Jordan Love and Dak Prescott. And then I have George Pickens, Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, and Bijan Robinson.
That's
like,
nuts.
and it's a start. It's like a start 7 like league. Like I'm just starting those guys. It's just, but I'll find a way to lose. It'll end up as a loss.
Just shut up. I don't want to hear this stuff. You're easily going to win. Ryan on Blue Sky says, do you brush your teeth with hot or cold water?
Ooh, honestly, whatever I like go after.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really like think about it. Sometimes it might be hot because I just like wash my hands or something. So I'll put it usually cold though. I'd say it's usually cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's
not a big deal to me if it's hot though. I don't really care.
It kind of is a big deal to me. I'd be grossed out.
Would you?
If I got my toothbrush wet with hot water.
Do you do things while you brush your teeth?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Is that a sign? Someone said that's a sign of ADHD.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is. And I mean, you really like, I should just stand there and look at myself and make sure I do a good job brushing my teeth. I shouldn't be like grinding 3 microblogging platforms and reading a New York Times article and texting with Rotopat and doing 15 other things. Like, it's good. It's good to let your mind rest once in a while you're doing something habitual. Like,
oh no, you gotta doom scroll and piss. I mean, that's at least I'll at least be peeing while I'm brushing my teeth. You know, I have to, but I'm constantly, I've said this before in the show, I'm constantly trying to find efficiencies in my life, like time wise, where like, I'm like, okay, I got to go get changed because I just finished a workout, but I know I got to make, let's say, tea or something because I'm going to do a show. Okay. So I have to shower, right? And then go do a show, but I need to make tea for the show because I always need my tea while I'm doing the show. So I gotta put the water in the kettle and get the tea, get the water hot while I shower. So I come out and it's done. And I think about that. That's constantly going through my mind at all times. It's pretty annoying.
Yeah. I do similar stuff. I like with coffee. I'll do that with coffee. I got to start the coffee now so that it's ready when I sit down to write my article.
Right.
I don't know. Is it bad? Is it good? Is it not? Is it neither bad nor good?
But I think the brushing the teeth thing, that like, it's got to be over 90% of people are looking at their phone and stuff while they're brushing their teeth.
I know. God, it's so bad. Oh my gosh. Yesterday at Xavier's baseball camp, he does this indoor baseball camp in the winter. And oh, by the way, he's such a good base runner that the coaches were having him like demonstrate for the rest of the class.
Oh, wow.
Like, he's really good. I was in, and he's not experienced, by the way.
I know, that's what you were saying whenever you were telling the story about the grand slam.
Like, he's really good slider. Anyway, I was very proud. And this is not a judgment because listen, I use my phone excessively. Okay, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty as you are, as everybody. Okay, so they're not a judgment. But I was like sick to my stomach yesterday when I realized all 12 parents who were there were on their phones at the same time. None of them watching the proceedings, including myself.
Yeah. This is what you were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Whenever you shared the story.
And I was like, damn, I got to put this away. And I put it away for the rest of the time. And again, not judging, but everybody was on their phone the whole time. This is like terrible. This is really bad.
It's really bad. And you have to remember just how like fleeting it all is. And like your kids are going to be young only so long. That's what I'm trying to, it's hard. Like I said, it's hard during football season, like in the evening, whenever there's like news dropping and you need to like manage your teams, all that kind of stuff. And like, but part of the reason why I can't wait for football season to be done from a work perspective is that like, I won't feel this urge to have I can just literally set it aside and know that I'm not missing anything from a work standpoint, while we're getting ready for dinner and doing all that kind of stuff.
But there's always something to check.
There's always something to check, but I'm going to feel, I'm very much like, I'm not like a workaholic. I'm just passionate about my job and work. And I don't want to be bad at it. And so that's what ties me to it more than, there's always stuff to check, but I'm okay with missing out on like a news item or something like that.
I hate the clawing at my brain that happens when I haven't digested new information in like a few minutes.
Yep.
I mean, just of some kind, you know, it doesn't have to be football. It could be politics, it could be whatever, cultural, movies, music. Like, I'm like, I haven't learned anything new in 90 seconds.
Yep.
Man, what a burden. What a modern burden.
I know. It's crazy.
Do you have any other questions you want to get to?
I do. This one's from Steak Knife Ob, and I want to see. I don't know if I understand it completely. It says, as I'm about to enter my 40s, at what age do I need to stop asking for airport drop-offs and pickups?
I still ask for those.
Yeah, I think that you can still ask. Is it that you're like older and you should just be able to pay for parking kind of deal? Like, is that the idea? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong, or you should just get an Uber or a taxi or whatever. I don't know. Is that what the question's asking? I genuinely don't know.
I see. Maybe it's just like you should be able to take care of it yourself.
Yeah, that's my guess. Is that like you should just be able to like do, park there or what? I think you can ask, you can get someone to drop you off and pick you up forever.
Forever. That's right. I picked my dad. My dad's 70 years old. I picked him up from the airport a few months ago. So, real quick, I wanted to just from a fantasy standpoint, I saw several questions on different platforms. with the question basically, do you allow in the fantasy playoffs, do you allow non-playoff teams to pick up players?
Yeah, let me hear your take. I've talked about this on the mailbag and stuff on the show over the last week.
If there's money involved for places outside of like the playoffs, then yes, it's okay for them to pick it up. But if not, then no, they should not be able to.
If there's something on the line, I agree. Here's my counterpoint to this always, because there's a lot of people that emphatically will say, you absolutely, if you're not in the playoffs, you can't pick anyone up, right? Like they're so passionate about this. Yeah. Here's my counterpoint. Why should the playoff teams have an easier time getting players off the waiver wire? You know what I mean? Because like once it's championship week, there's only 2 teams. And now all of a sudden, the team that planned ahead was in a great spot. There's 3 running back injuries, and that other team all of a sudden has a chance against you. And that's frustrating.
It is.
And the argument against that would be plan ahead and, get handcuffs and blah, 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 blah. But there's always going to be something going on. And I've been on the right side of that at times. I've been on the wrong side of that at times. But I do think that there's at least like an argument to be made that teams in the playoffs should not have an easier time getting players off the waiver wire.
You're saying that folks need to toughen up.
Yeah. But I also think my general stance is that no, if you're not playing for anything, just let your team be. You're done. Like the LTS Listener League, I sent an email out to the league. My worst redraft team all year by far. Just honestly, just light it on fire. I don't want to look at that thing.
You're disgusted.
I'm so disgusted by that team. It is incredible what happens when I remember on the stream, like, I haven't drafted Chuba Hubbard. I'm not going to draft him in any other league. So how about Alvin Kamara? I haven't drafted Alvin Kamara, so I'll just get Alvin Kamara. That'll be fun. And then I ended up getting Brian Thomas in that league, my only Brian Thomas share as well.
Really? Oh,
I got lucky there. It was more, I was just into I was more into like getting a Devon Achane or like a Chase Brown type in the, like, just based on team structure and build and how things were going in some of these drafts instead of, it was lucky. It's not like I was really low on Brian Thomas. I just wasn't extraordinarily high on Brian Thomas.
Yeah. Jonathan Santiago in the chat says, what is your last place punishment? Actually, Pat Doherty and I talked about that a few weeks ago. My last place punishment is you got to get woke. That's it. Like you gotta, that's your punishment. You read some books, you watch some movies, bang, you're woke. And then his was, you have to run for 1 year. You have to go everywhere in public, running around like the children from the movie Weapons. Have you seen this?
I don't think I've seen that.
Okay.
No.
So they put their arms out to their side. They're like hypnotized by some evil spirit.
Like airplanes?
Right? Yeah. But they run like maniacs, right? And so every time I think about that, it is so funny to me because like, what if you're in the grocery store and you just have to run like the guys from Weapons? Oh my God.
That's very funny. That's very good. I don't play in any leagues with last place punishments actually, but I haven't. I'm not. I don't.
Horrible. Don't do that.
I don't say this to brag, but I cannot remember the last time I got last place in the fantasy league.
It was my first team ever. I got last place.
Yeah, but like you have to. I'm not kidding. Like you have to just be totally inactive to get last place most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's right. But people, I have people asking me questions online all year, being like, "Look, I'm in second to last place. Like, you got to help me. I cannot finish last."
People dread that. But that's the problem with that's the problem that I have with last place punishments is that you fear fantasy football more than you enjoy it.
It's not good. And also, if it's that bad, then what do we talk? We're talking about like you got to wear a dress in public or something.
Yeah, like what I want to know what the punishments are.
That's not cool. Come on.
Yeah,
there's got to be better ways.
I've heard. I kind of like the ones where it's like there's a license plate holder that gets passed around every year that says like I suck at fantasy football, and they have to just have that on their
that's
car for the year.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, like that's a pretty like whatever kind of thing and funny and the problem is though is that like I am number one competitive naturally, but also I have this thing in my brain where I'm like, I need to do well in fantasy football because this is my job, right? Like I have like, I can't do poorly.
Sure.
And So if I were to ever get last like that, it would be it would genuinely be devastating.
The ego death would be real.
Oh, it'd be horrible. It would be absolutely terrible if something like that happened. Yeah.
Do we have time for any more? I have one more.
Let's do one more.
This is from Denver Dude, our guy, our good patron, good supporter of the show. There's a Taco Bell 50K in Denver. I don't know, Taco Bell 50K in Denver, where you have to run past 10 different Taco Bell locations, eating specific menu items from each as part of the race. It must be completed in 11 hours.
So it's an ultra marathon, basically.
Okay, 50K.
Yeah. 50K. Yeah, it's 10 times a 5K. So it's 30 miles, basically.
That's the analytics.
Yeah.
If the fate of humanity depended on you successfully finishing this race, what hope do we have? Almost none.
So what do you have to eat at each Taco Bell?
You eating specific menu items from each part from each as a part of the race.
So you probably have like a set number that you have to. Maybe there's a strategy. That'd be cool if there's a strategy involved to like take a certain menu item at a certain stop and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess you have to rotate. You can't get the same thing every time, because I was going to say I would just get the bean burrito.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, just get something easy. Someone said that Andy Behrens is running that.
Oh, Andy's
which you might be joking, but that's not really a joke, because Behrens runs he runs like double-digit miles every day.
Andy does that thing where like I've like stayed up like late with him at the Fantasy Football Expo when we're both drinking, and the next day he'll be like, "Yeah, I got up and I ran 12 miles." And I'm like,
"Yeah,
I got up and then laid directly back down."
You took a giant D and then just laid down.
That's it.
And he's probably running just D'ing.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
But no, that sounds miserable. And I am officially done. I don't know if I've said this, but I'm officially done doing anything over a 10K. Like never again. My dad was a big marathon runner, and he now is dealing with the repercussions of like knee injuries and like back injuries and stuff. He messed up his back in his 50s, and it's just like, it's all from running. And I have his genes, and I've officially said to myself, you know what? I did the half last year. I don't need to do it again. I don't need to crush my body like that. I can find other ways to be competitive, and they can be through 3 and 6 miles instead of 13 and 26.
I may have asked you this. Have you played pickleball?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I have. I haven't gotten back. I haven't really gotten into it during this craze. I actually played pickleball in middle school.
I would imagine. Oh, okay. I do. Yeah, I remember playing. Yeah. I imagine you being ferociously competitive in pickleball.
I would be if I would
like be. So like John McEnroe slamming, like breaking stuff, like screaming
probably
at the ref.
Probably. if it was competitive, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But when it comes to like, if I'm just playing, with friends or whatever, then I'm not gonna. So but if it was like a league, yeah, I'd probably get competitive with it.
You were playing pickleball in the 90s, like before anybody knew about it.
I was playing pickleball in the 90s, and me and my buddy won our grade championship.
You're such a hipster.
Yeah, I was. That's one of my proudest moments from 18 and under moments was winning the pickleball championship.
Yeah, man, that's a big deal.
Yeah, MBD guys. I was also Santa Claus in 5th grade, as we all know, in my chorus play. Still remember every song from that play, every single song. I wake up in the morning and I start singing the songs. I don't know what happened to my brain.
That is funny,
but it is a messed up thing that's going on up here.
I was a wise man in the school play, and I had a little solo.
Is that the private schools? They did. Yeah, they allowed you to do the wise man stuff.
I sang to Sweet Baby Jesus. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I still genuinely remember lines from the play and songs from the play, and I hate it, honestly. I hate it.
I didn't expect that. All right.
No, that's not fun. It's not fun. I'll randomly take videos of myself singing them, and I'll send it to my childhood friend and let him.
That's funny.
Enjoy my stupid brain. Anyway, all right, Denny. Let everyone know where they can find you.
I'm on Blue Sky posting of things, and all my work is on Roto World. Check out, God, my throat, man. Check out the Roto World Football Show on YouTube and wherever podcasts are sold.
I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky at LateRoundQB. Check out the Late Round podcast. Go to lateround.com. Good luck in week 15, everyone. We will catch you next week.
Thank you for listening to Living the Stream. We hope you enjoyed the internet podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes now. It won't take long, it's fast. For more fantasy football info, check out
LateRound.com and RotoWorld.
Hope you come back soon as we share about the teams and as we live in the stream.